Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again tonight. So tonight we're going to change things up a little bit. I am going to do a Valentine's Day look that's going to be monochromatic, meaning colors all of a similar tone. So being that it's Valentine's Day, I am going to stick to some of the reds and burgundies, and I'm also going to use some lashes and show you a different way to actually more easily apply a strip lash. So thanks for joining me. Of course, tonight I'll be using a lot of Limelight products, but I'm also going to be using, and I'm going to show you some of my colors here. These are all from Senna Cosmetics, also another pro line who I was very fortunate to be able to work with at the makeup show. And one thing I forgot to do last night, so I'm going to start by doing that tonight because I have it right in front of me. I forgot to prime my eyelids. So I'm going to use our concealer here, number 2 concealer, because it matches my skin tone and it's going to help to cancel out any discoloration in my eyes. I'm going to bring that up just above the crease, and it's also going to act as a primer. And since my nails are longer, it's much easier for me to actually use a brush to apply that. So we want a nice thin coat. I'm going to blend this out with my fingers just a little bit though. We're going to make that a little easier. I'm just going to just blend that in a little bit. And as usual, I'm going to start on my eyes. I did lighten my brows up a little bit today with some products, so I'm going to show you how I did that. And being that this would be a date night look or a Valentine's Day look, I'm also going to start, I'm going to highlight a little bit more. I'm going to go in with our concealer number 0. So I'm just rubbing that with my finger, and I'm going to rub my 2 fingers together. This is going to warm the product up a little bit. And this I'm going to actually do before the shadow. If anything falls out on there, it will be very easily wiped and blended. So I want to highlight the eye area. And sometimes I like to do this under my foundation, just cover up some of the redness there. Okay. So tonight I'm still going to start off with the Limelight colors, and I'm going to use some of my basic colors that I love to use to start. So the Cream Boat will be under my brow. And then I'm going to go in with the One Night Sand and also Taupe for the Best. And that will be used in the crease area. So I'm going to start, like I always do, just underneath the brow bone. This color I'm going to bring in just a little bit to keep this area nice and light. So I hope everybody is going to be going out for dinner, doing something special for Valentine's Day. We haven't made any plans yet, and I highly doubt we'll go out to eat since I'm still not, after my surgery, eating quite properly. So we'll wait probably until I'm up to speed again before we head out for dinner. And I'm going to take my pointed blended brush, which I see I had a little bit of shadow on. So what I did is I just took a tissue. So I like to keep this by my side so I can just wipe off so I'm not keeping the brush dirty. And I'm going to pick up some of a One Night Sand color, tip my head back like I usually do, and start in the outer corner. And this color I'm going to bring up, it's fairly light, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit higher than I usually do. And again, start on the outer edge. That's where I want most of the color to be. And I'm going to sweep just a little bit of that underneath the lash line. So now I'm going to go in for the Taupe for the Best. Hi Brenda, how are you? And I'm going to bring that a little bit lower down into the crease area. Still going to keep it in the outer area. I'm going to go in and pick up a little bit more for the other eye. I've had the question asked me, and just so you all know, some people have asked why I've chosen to sell Limelight. Those of you that know me, I have a hard time selling any product that I don't truly believe in. And since many of these products were already in my makeup kit, the RCMA, foundations, the Ketset R translucent powder, the Kryolan Dermablend concealers, Scandinavia, the setting powder, or setting spray, and also the London Brush Company, the shampoo, and along with the brushes by Delium. It's been very easy for me to actually go ahead and sell these products. I did sell these on the East Coast and took a little break when I came here, but I knew the quality of the products, and to me that was really very important. So now I'm going to go into some of the Senna colors. So these were kind of fun. This one here is called Dragonfly, and it's a duochrome, so you're going to see it's going to throw off a couple different shadow colors. I'm going to use this one. I can't recall the name of this. It's a very beautiful burgundy though. And we're going to highlight the inner corner with this color here. So like I said, I want to keep everything monochromatic. When I even get to blush color, I'm actually also going to use some pink, some red. So everything's just going to kind of blend and match together. So I think to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some of this very shimmery color, and I'm going to start on the inner corner of the eye here and just underneath. And unfortunately these just have numbers behind them. I can't remember the names of these shadows. So again, just a little bit on the inner corner. I want to keep it nice and light. So hopefully if you're out for dinner or something, we can go heavier on the lid, but the inner corner I want to keep light. Hi Nia, how are you? Now I'm going to go in with this beautiful Dragonfly color, and again, these are very pigmented, so you'll hear me tapping off. And I'm going to apply this more on the lid. So you're going to be able to see this is kind of a red tone with a little bit of green, just the way that the colors play off. Hi Lydia, how are you doing tonight? I changed my background tonight to a white background because as I watched the replay last night, every time I moved just a little bit, I got all washed out against the black background. So I'm hoping this is better. Maybe you can all tell me. Charlotte, how are you? I'm counting down the days until I see you. I hope your babies, the twins, are doing much better by the time I come in. So I'm just picking up a little bit more of that color and really pressing that on. I might even want it a little darker, so I might go in with some setting spray, but I'm going to get the burgundy color down first. And I'm going to keep that just under the center of the eye. And I'm sorry, I keep moving out of your view a little bit. I want to make sure I'm able to see in my mirror. So tonight, I'm going to stick with, and I'm sorry, my allergies are bad again tonight, excuse me. My nose is running a little bit. So I'm going to take our angled shadow brush, and I'm going to go into this burgundy color. And like usual, I'm going to start in the outer V and come up into the crease just ever so slightly. So I'm really pushing it in right back by where my eyeballs were receding back in. We're going to do this on the other eye before I start to blend. And I thought this would be a fun way to show you how using monochromatic colors. And we're going to do a red lip. Again, the blush is going to be red. So everything just tends to really work with each other since I'm using similar tones. They're not exact, but they're very similar. So I'm going to blend this a little bit. And as I'm blending, you can see I'm blending up. So over and up a little bit. I'm going to just blend that on the lid. And I'm going to take my wonderful smoky liner brush and bring some of that burgundy color just underneath the eye here. Connect it up to the outer corner. And I think I'm actually going to use that smoky liner brush just to place a little more of the color. I'm going to pick some more of this burgundy up because we still want it to be nice and smoky. I'm going to move to the other side. Maybe you can see a little bit better this way. And now I'm just very lightly blending. I didn't really come up into the crease area. I think I am going to take some of my setting spray and I'm going to spray my brush. I'm going to give it 2 pumps and I'm going to go back into this dragonfly color. And now you're really going to be able to see some of that burgundy green color starting to pop. Hi Kathleen. Hi Alyssa, how are you? I'm going to again spray my brush. So not all the colors that I'm using tonight are part of our Limelight collection. And this, I'm going to flip my brush upside down because I really want some of the color right by the lash line. I'm going to spray my brush a little bit more. I really want to pump this color up. There we go. And now I'm going to put just a little bit of that on the tip of my brush, and again I want that right underneath the center of my eye. That way we're able to get rid of a little bit of the red, and I'm sorry you're all going to see me get very red very quickly soon. I am getting ready to have a hot flash. It's starting. I'm going to pick up on actually my Senna brush, and this is more of a tapered blending brush. I want to just darken that crease ever so slightly. Kathleen, I heard you're all in for about 6 to 10 inches of snow back in Nazareth. That's one thing I really don't miss being out here in El Paso. It's always sunny and beautiful. And I'm just going to swipe underneath and pick up. That's why I put the concealer down ahead of time, because it's really going to help pull some of that color out. Okay. Now tonight I'm not going to do a wing tonight actually, so I'm going to go in with our eyeliner pen. And I'm going to have to pick up my mirror here so I can stay in your view. And I'm staying very, very close to the lash line. And I'm also going to tightline just a little bit to make the underside dark, make my lashes appear to look longer. And my liner's starting to bleed up just a little bit. I'm going to fix that later. We're going to let that dry down a little bit. And that's from my allergies. My eyes are a little puffy tonight. I keep trying to bring my mirror up and out of your way a little bit. So I'm coming all the way out to the edge, and you'll see I'm just lifting it a little bit as I get to that corner. Not so much doing a cat eye, but still want to give it the lifted illusion look. Wow, 6 to 12 inches of snow. I don't miss that. I have a friend that lives in Wilmington, Delaware. It's about 2 hours south of Bethlehem, and they're already getting snow. So I don't know if you are also yet, Kathleen. Okay, and I'm going to step off the camera for 1 second to grab a Q-tip. And now, just where it's starting to run up and bleed just a little bit, I'm going to just take my Q-tip and push that color back down. Okay, now I can come back in with that lighter shimmer color. There we go. So Kathleen, like I said, I don't know if it started there yet, but I know it's coming. If it's in Wilmington, it's on its way up. Okay, so tonight, now I'm going to show you also how I'm going to lighten my brows. But first, we're going to get some foundation on. And my friend Stephanie gave me a little tip. Normally, I just go in with the Shinto 2. And tonight, where did I put it? It's right in front of me. I'm going to mix the Shinto 2 with just a little bit of ivory. So it's going to make it just a smidge lighter to truly match my skin. But since the ivory is actually in my tester palette, I'm just going to take a little bit of that and start warming that up on the back of my hand. So you can see this is pretty light, much lighter than my hand actually. But what I'm going to do, I'll show you, I'm going to pick up from my palette, and I put 1 drop of One Drop Wonder in here just to swirl it around. So this is my Shinto 2, and I'm going to take that, and I'm trying to see if you can all see this. Let me come this way. I'm going to mix that on the back of my hand with that lighter color. I did this earlier today, and it really matched my skin a little bit better. So you can see on the back of my hand now it's not quite as yellow, and I'm going to start going in and placing that color first on the skin, which is what I usually like to do, and then I'm going to start to buff it in. So you can see now, it might still look a little yellow. I have the light pumped up pretty much. But now, as I'm starting to buff in, move over here a little bit, just by adding that little bit of a light color, it's going to match my skin a little bit better. Sometimes we have to do that. So in summers, Shinto 2 is 100% perfect for me. Actually, sometimes I have to add a little bit of my contour, my concealer number 6 color, as I get darker. I like to sit outside in the sun, get my vitamin D. Come all the way up into my hairline, back onto my ears. You want to make sure your makeup is flawless and nobody can see where it starts and ends. Also come down a little bit around the nose and all around the lips. I'm going to go in with my Blenderful and start pressing that in. And if I lean back a little bit, maybe that'll make it a little easier. And then you'll always see me pulling down along my neck. Is that, oh yeah, I got a little flush from that hot flash. So you can see I still have a little bit of product left on the back of my hand. So I'm going to come in with that, and right on my favorite little sunspot, apply a little extra product, and maybe a little on my cheeks. Since we're going to be putting some red blush on, I really don't want too much of my redness popping through. And now all I'm doing is taking a tissue and just wiping off the back of my hand. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my concealer colors, and as usual, I'm going to start with the number 3 so that I can counteract any darkness I have under my eyes. Press it in with my finger a little bit. There we go. And on this side and cover that little dark spot. And from tight lining, I had just a little bit of that liner transfer. I don't mind some of it, but I don't like it all in the inner corner. I'm going to keep that nice and bright. So I'll put some of that concealer there, and that'll knock that right out. Okay, I'm coming in with my concealer number 2 like I usually do, coming down the side of the nose, over and lifting the eye. Make that little triangle. Again, the same on the other side. I do appreciate you all joining me. I love when I see that some of my tips are actually helping people. I'm using my Blenderful just to and take a little bit of that down my nose, and between the forehead and my chin. I'm sorry, my phone is starting to say my connection is weak, so I'm not sure what's happening. I hope I'm not going to drop out. Okay, I'm going to cover that little spot and blend this in. Hi Laura, how are you tonight? Okay, sorry about that. We lost the connection there for a minute. I'm not sure what's happening here in El Paso. Okay. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to take my concealer brush and just come around the nose and press that in. Okay, now since this is actually going to be a nice Valentine's Day look, we're going to contour a little bit. Hey Kate, thanks. I'd like to see some more of your makeup videos on here. I'm going to take my tiny little brush and I'm going to take my taupe for the best color, which is a great contour color. Like I said, these shadows do not need to be used just for eyeshadow. And this is what I'm going to use as my contour tonight. So I'm going to start up at the upper edge of my ear and come down. So you can see what this is doing is not making a true brown mark. It's actually making a shadow type of color mark. I'm going to blend that up. And now you're going to see, when I step back, that's really created a nice shadow. I'm going to take my foundation brush and just blend that a little bit. I don't want that to be the sole focus. So that's really created a very nice shadow. I'm going to come underneath my jawline a little bit. Pull that down just a smidge. And then I'm going to use the Blenderful just to blend so nobody sees a dark line there. It's going to hopefully help me get rid of my turkey neck a little bit. And now I'm going to go in and do the brows. So since I've lightened my hair a little bit, I do want to keep my brows a little bit on the lighter side. And I'm using actually our One Night Stand color. And this brow always needs a little extra help. It's not quite as full as the other one. And I'm coming in and I'm going in the same direction as the hair grows. So these hairs generally grow straight up. So I'm going to flip my brush upside down, come straight up. These are starting to move to the side and these come down. I'm going to brush through. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. This side just underneath here does not always need quite as much help. But like I said, I'm using a little bit of a lighter color to help lighten them a little bit. Hi Jackie. So again, I'm going to take the shadow and come straight up. So the color that I'm using is just a shade lighter than my brows, so it's helping to lighten them a little bit. And now I am going to use actually my Anastasia brow gel. So this is blonde. It's definitely a lighter color than my brows are. It has a little bit of gold in it. And I like to take that sometimes and just brush it through. And I want some of that, there we go, some of that lighter color to come through. So this is going to help set my brows and also throw a little bit of a lighter color in there. Erika, how are you? So you can see I'm really trying to make sure that some of, there we go, that color, that gold blonde color is coming up. So that way it's lightening my brows up a little bit. Okay, so tonight, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some bronzer. First I'm going to set my foundation. So I'm going to come in with our setting powder, which most of you all know now is white, but it goes on translucent. I'm going to set underneath the eyes first. And what I really like to do with this brush is you can see I'm actually pressing that in. And come around my nose, down the chin, and I always want to go in and make sure I cover that sunspot. And I'm going to take a little bit of that underneath where I've contoured, because that's also going to help lighten and brighten that area up and keep the contour nice and shaded. So now I am, as usual, going to go in with our perfect bronzer here. Pick up some product, knock it off, and I'm concentrating more of that color up a little higher tonight. I'm just bringing that down just a smidgen onto the apples of the cheeks tonight. And up around the forehead. So again, starting up higher. Because I really want the blush to kind of be the star of the show tonight. And a little bit underneath my chin, around my nose. I'm going to put a little bit just across here, which is where the sun would normally hit us. And I'm just going to blend that in. And I'm looking at the light. I'm going to drop the tone down a little bit. I think with my white background, I think it's washing me out just a little bit. So let me, there we go. Okay. That'll help a smidge. So before I put the blush on, I'm just pressing some of that color in. Okay. And the blush that I'm going to use tonight is our number 2 blush here. And you can see it looks very, very red, but it's actually really pretty on. And again, it's just going to match the look we have going on with the burgundy. So I'm going to pick a little bit of that up. I'm twirling my brush. I'm going to knock it off. I'm going to start just very lightly on the apples of my cheeks and pull more of the color back. And do the same over here. So what this is going to do is give me actually a really nice rosy glow. I want just a little bit more of that product. So yeah, I'm going very lightly here and pulling it back a little more. So now I am just going to take my blender full and just press that in again. Still have a little bit of foundation left on here, so that way if I happen to get too much, I can just take my foundation brush, which has a little left on it, and come over it. That way it's going to look as though I'm blushing from within, so just underneath. And that's one of the best ways to actually tone your blush down a little bit if you've put too much on. So I'm going to take some of my setting spray like usual. Oh, and I think I'm out. So we're going to set that. I'm going to have to refill my bottle. Okay, so now I'm going to do mascara, and then I'll come in and show you my trick with the lashes. So I think we all know the routine now. I'm going to start with the tips. We're going to come uptown, and I'm not curling them since I'm putting on lashes. I'm going to come downtown, coat the backs, push them uptown again, and crosstown. And I'm going to put a little bit on the lower here. I have to lean to the side to see in my mirror. There we go. Come back up a little bit. I always like to do my lashes or mascara before I put lashes on. That way I'm able to reuse the lashes. Oh, thank you, Alexis. Thanks for joining tonight. One of the other reasons I actually chose the colors I did in my eyes tonight is my eyes are green, and on the color wheel, the opposite color of green is red. So they actually very much complement one another. I'm coming downtown, back uptown again, and now crosstown. Pull those out. I'm sorry, my nose is starting to run again. Tonight it's running like a sieve, as we would say back in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, with all our Pennsylvania Dutchy wording. Okay. So I'm going to let that dry just a minute. So tonight, I'm actually going to use some long lashes. I've never used these before, but they're really long lengthwise, but they're also long. They're actually way too big for my eyes. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to actually cut those down, and we're going to place them. I'm going to use, I think, 3 strips. So if I hold it up to my eye, you can see it's actually way too big. You can see the extra that's hanging out over the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to try to make 3 fairly even cuts. So I'm going to cut here. I'm going to drop it so I don't drop it on the floor. And right about here. Okay. So now I have 3 sections. What I want to show you, and I'm going to try to get a close-up so you can see in here. One end is definitely shorter than the other end. So one of these will go on the inside corner of my eye. Jackie, I've actually never been there. So I think when I was doing a fashion show with Bizarre Models here, I think one of the models, a lot of times they would bring the lashes in, and I'd use them, and one girl had a whole bunch of extra lashes, so she gave me a few pairs to try. And these would probably fit your eyes without having to cut anything off, because you have such a beautiful white eye. So again, here's the narrow section. So this section, oops, and actually I've got the wrong, so this is going to go on this eye here, because I want that narrow, whoops, little piece, this side here, to be closest to the inner corner of my eye. So I'm going to apply some of my lash glue. This is the Lust that I usually use. And we're going to kind of stack these right on top of one another. I'm going to try to see if I can stay in focus here for you all to see. So I'm going to take this one and place it. I need to drop my eye a little bit down close to the lash line while I'm pushing my lashes. So that's one section. Now I'm going to take the next section, which would be the middle, or on a strip it would be the whole thing. And this is going to go in the middle because this is where some of the longer pieces are. So it's going to help to round out my eyes a little bit. And for those of you who struggle with wearing strip lashes, sometimes this is a much easier way to do it. So this we're going to put in the middle, but I'm actually going to stack it a little bit on top of that other lash that was already there. And I need to come from up above. There we go. And whoops, I have a little bit of glue stuck on my tweezers. So that little piece of lash was not coming and dropping down. So let's try that again. Again, coming from up above, pushing my lashes down out of the way. And you can see it's starting to flip up a little bit. So I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to come from this side. Well, these are really long. I'm not used to wearing lashes that are quite this long. But if I close my lid now, you can see I'm going to try to press that in a little. There we go. I've actually crossed over and my eye's starting to tear a little bit. So I'm just going to take my tissue. Actually, I have my Q-tip here and stop that there. And now I'm going to take the last section, put some glue on there, and I'm thinking I can do this with my right hand so you can see. So now, like I said, these lashes were way too long for me to start, but this section I'm going to come in, and again I'm kind of stacking it and dropping it right on top of that other one. Oh, I still have some glue stuck on my tweezer. Let me grab my lash applicator. That might be a little easier. There we go. So I'm going to make sure that that is at the end of my eye and not hanging over too much. I'm just going to push that in a little bit. I need to try to stop my eye from tearing. So now I've taken a lash that was too wide for my eye, used the same lash, and actually gotten it all on. So I'm going to pull the other one off, and again I'm going to show you how to cut 3 easy sections. Now that my eye is tearing, excuse me a second, my nose is running. Everything all runs at once. Okay, so here I put my tweezers. So I'm going to show you again. If I would have used this whole lash, it would have stuck over pretty far on the end. So by cutting it in 3 even pieces and stacking those on top of each other, I'm able to get a little extra fullness, and this way if a corner lifts, the whole lash won't come off. So again, I'm just cutting those into 3 sections, and I have this tiny little section here. Now let's see, this is, I am looking for, oops, I just lost a piece, hang on a minute. Where'd that other piece go? There they are. Okay. I can see which section is the longest. And this section, this is where I've got to grab the tweezers so you all can see. So you can see there's a shorter end here. So that's going to go right next to the inner corner of my nose. So I'm going to put some adhesive on there. I think I'm going to get that up with my little lash applicator since I don't have any adhesive on there. Hopefully that won't stick. But my mirror is magnetic. Everything is sticking to that. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to come in, keep that fairly close to the inner corner, push my lashes out of the way, and drop it. Okay, so that's one section there. Now I'm going to grab the section that they're all, I'm trying to see if you all can see this. They're all pretty much the same length, so I know that's the middle section. And I'm going to put some adhesive on the back here. And sorry, goes my nose again. Okay. And we're going to put that in the middle section. So again, it's okay if it covers some of that other piece there. I want it to, because I can't have everything going right next to one another because the lash is too wide for my eye. So this way, this section right in here is crossing over a little bit, giving me a little more fullness in there. And I'm going to pick up the last section here. So this might take a few extra minutes rather than the one strip to drop it. But I believe this is actually easier, especially for those of you who are not used to wearing the lashes. So we're going to take the last piece, and towards the outside I need to get my lashes down and the other lash, and drop that down. And I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm still trying to stay in focus so you all can see. And sorry, I just lost you for a second. So now this little white piece that looks like it's white here is actually going to dry out clear. So the other eye is actually all clear. Wow, these are really long. I'm used to wearing eyelashes, but not eyelashes that are this long. They're kind of fun. So again, I think that would be a great night. You can blink all night and flirt with your honey, your date for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to take just a little bit more, especially over here where I was tearing, the shadow that was on my brush. Okay, and as this lash is going to start to dry out, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to use our candy apple color. So again, this is an enduring lip color, so it's long lasting. I actually had this on all day today. I put it on about 9 o'clock this morning, and I ate dinner. I actually had to take it off to do this tutorial, but I liked, because it kind of matches my nails. And again, it's got that red color, so everything's all monochromatic. I'm going to start on my lower lip. No liner with this tonight. You can still see it's actually stained my lips a little bit. And I like to press my lips together and mush some of that around and then come up to the upper lip. And you can see I'm using the tip of the brush, almost like a lip liner. I made a little boo-boo there, so I'm going to show you all how to correct that. Okay, so with our enduring lip colors, they are matte, very long lasting, and I'm going to show you how to correct some of these things here. Okay, so in this corner I went a little too far here. So as it's drying down, I can take a Q-tip and correct that. I'm going to come up to the upper lip too. There we go. Now you can see it's left a little stain. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab my concealer palette and my lip brush. And I'm going to use my number 2 concealer, which is closest to my skin. And I'm going to come around and perfect that with my concealer. And I need to wipe my brush off to make sure I'm not pulling the red through. I can see I've got a little bit there, so I'm going to really wipe my brush off, pick up a little more concealer, and this is one of the ways that I'm able to perfect lips for photos. Okay, now I'm going to grab a clean Q-tip. And by using a clean Q-tip, I'm just blending that concealer. And hi, Blanca. Okay, so as usual, I overdrew my upper lip a little bit, and that's because when I smile, it kind of disappears. My lower lip stays nice and full, so I always like to overdraw the upper lip a little bit. And I'm just wiping off my lip brush. So now I'm just going to take a look and see if anything needs to be touched up. This eye is still tearing just a teeny tiny bit. There we go. So I need to come back in, put a little bit more of that color there. Okay. And now if I sit back a little bit, I'm just going to fluff my hair a little bit since I was moving it all around. And now if I was able to eat a full meal, which hopefully in a few months I will be, I'd be ready to go out for Valentine's Day and enjoy dinner with my honey. So again, I've kept the look pretty monochromatic. Red on the lips. Oh, I know what I forgot to do, and I wanted to show you that. So I have our highlighter also. And because I had this on today, it was so pretty. Thanks, Denise. So our highlighter is not overly shimmery. I'm going to come down the nose a little bit with it. So what I'm doing, and Blanca, just so you know, I'm not coming under the whole eye. I'm going to do that again so you see. I'm staying on top of the cheekbone and coming up. So now, this eye is still dripping a little bit. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone. There we go. So now when I lean back, because I have a little bit of light coming from up above too, you can see just that little bit of a shimmer in here. Just makes it look just very dewy and youthful looking. And that's what I love. It's not overly shimmery. I'm going to try to catch the light there again so you can see. So again, I have the red lips, the red blush, the burgundies on the eyes, and also on the lid, it's that burgundy type of green color. So everything just kind of blends. And then my nails are pretty close matched to everything. So everything just all the way around is very cohesive and tends to look quite beautiful. Thanks, Angela. So that's the look for tonight. Again, if any of you wanted to shop, with the exception of the burgundy and the green on the eyes, you can actually go to my website. I sell all the other products that I was using tonight, and that is, now everything's up on my website. So it's www.elisesimons.com /shop with a little bit more history about the Limelight products and why I'm selling them, and then a link to my actual shopping site. And I can see, as I think it's because the mirror is below me and catching the light from up above, so you can really see how this color is playing off. So I think that's kind of a fun look. Great Valentine's Day look. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook so you can all see the end product. Thank you for joining me again. And starting next week, I'm actually going to be doing all my Facebook Lives on my business page. So Elise Simon's Beauty. So if you want to watch them live, please join me there, and then I'll still repost them to Facebook. But that way, any of you who want to join live with me, and I love seeing and being able to interact with you all in the live, so please come over to Elise Simon's Beauty to find those. I'll be posting all that information. So I hope you all enjoy next week, Valentine's Day, and have a great dinner. You might see me once this weekend if I have time to hop on, but if not, I'll be definitely doing 2 lives next week. So thanks again.